Kia ora everyone and welcome back to Mucky Hope Productions. I'm your host Mucky Hope, and I thought I'd just do something just a little bit cheeky, slightly different thing from what I normally do. So here on this channel we normally cover like traders and Survivor and reality TV shows, but I don't really want to cover just that. I'm down to cover more than just reality TV because I'm very interested in like scripted drama, and what a better way to dive deep into Squid Game. The new trailer just dropped today. What the hell? Squid Game Season 3 trailer has recently just dropped. But before I start breaking all that down, I'm keen to just, share my thoughts on why I love Squid Game so much. So for me personally, Squid Game literally came out of nowhere. So I have a rare story where I actually got into it because of Roblox. It was lockdown here in New Zealand, and I was jamming with some of the boys who were doing like Roblox Squid Game. And I was like, wow, like these games are actually pretty fun, where you play all these different childhood games where if you lose, you die. And one of my friends was like, yeah, they've made a whole TV show about it. I was like, nah, surely not. And yeah, I checked Netflix. Squid Game was right there. It's like, oh yeah, I'll give it a watch. And by the end of the first episode, I was hooked. Red light, green light, especially the first time they do it. My God, blew my mind. And I watched that whole season in like 2 or 3 days. I remember going to work crying after the Marbles episode. And at the time I worked at a checkout in a supermarket, and people were like, why the hell are you like tearing up? Because I'm wearing like a face mask and everything. It's like, oh, the bloody Marbles. But yeah, no, Squid Game, absolute phenomenon, like a global phenomenon as well, to be exact, where I feel like nobody saw a show like this coming. I hadn't even seen any trailers or any posts or anything like that, really. All I saw was just people playing Roblox Squid Games. Like, hey, why not give it a go? And then season 2 dropped late last year as well, which was a very mixed bag. A lot of people really didn't like season 2. I personally didn't mind it. I really, really liked it. I felt like a lot of certain aspects were really rushed though. So also the spy guy, what's his name? Junho or something like that. I'm really bad with names. Sorry if I get some of the names wrong. I felt like his story was just like, what are you doing, mate? He's just sailing around on a boat and he's like, oh, maybe this island, maybe that island, oi, 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 wait for this island over here. But like, they never bloody find the island. So it's kind of like, what's really the point? And the main story really does follow like Sung Gi-yeon and his journey, going back through the games. And something that I did like more about season 2 compared to season 1 is the variety of characters. We had so many different characters. Junhee, the pregnant lady, the mother and the son. You've got Thanos. And, oh my God, I loved Thanos so much. And his sidekick. You had all these different small side characters alongside as well. You had Hunjo, the trans character as well, who I absolutely loved. And yeah, obviously the front man as well was heavily involved in the games. And that to me was the best part about the show, because, when it came to the voting, I was like, oh, this is going to be kind of interesting, but somehow they're going to find a way to just keep on repeating that the games continue. But once a front man had entered the games, I was like, oh, shit, mate. Like, this is actually going to be so good. The front man's just going to mess with him the entire time. And during the final, like, firefight, I was like, are they really going to take like the entirety of Squid Game? Are they really going to storm their way up to head office and hold all the workers hostage? But I'm very naive when I thought that. I know a lot of people at the time were like, oh, there's only like 2 minutes left, how on earth could they bloody take over the entirety of Squid Game with just 10 people with very tiny SMGs? But I thought, hey, maybe they have a chance. Who the bloody hell knows? Anyone could have a chance here. And so, yeah, I naively thought that the good guys were going to win, but unfortunately they don't. And quick spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen the ending of Squid Game Season 2. If you haven't seen the ending, I don't know why you're here checking this out, but the best mate, Jung Bae, gets killed right in front of Gihan. And that's where Season 2 ends. And so heading into season 3, there's a lot of like hype. I felt like a lot of people were very disappointed by how the show just ends. It just cuts straight after the best mate getting shot. And I personally didn't mind it because I had heard that there was going to be a season 3. And so straight after I finished season 2, I looked it up and it was like season 3 is coming out late June. So it wasn't that much of a wait. So I was personally like, I don't really mind. Is what it is. But I know a lot of people online were like, "Oh my god, worst ending to a TV show ever." But it's all right, just grow up. It's what I personally think. And so yeah, heading into season 3, just before I do play the trailer and get down into my personal thoughts, if you are currently watching live, feel free to drop down some comments below as well on your thoughts on Squid Game, and any hot predictions you might have as well. So heading into season 3, I'm very curious to see how they're going to sort of wrap up the story. Apparently, it is the final season, the final showdown between Sung Gi-on and the front man. And, obviously you've still got the police officer who's roaming around, with his goons. It was revealed that the fishboat captain was actually a bad guy after all and's constantly been leading them astray. And the rebellion failed. This isn't Star Wars. The rebellion does not win. They epically failed and everyone dies except for Sung Gi-on. Also, we may think, as I've heard from, within the trailer. So, yeah, my thoughts going into season 3 and what I'm sort of expecting. I feel like we're going to get a lot more games, more brutal games. I found that, the 5-legged race and mingle were way, way bloody harder than any of the games in the first season, just in terms of the brutality of it. But I kind of feel like there was sort of idea they wanted to make it a bit more brutal since Sung Gi-on was going to be an active participant as well. And so, yeah, I'm expecting more harder kind of games, more brutal deaths, more heartbreaking moments as well. While we don't have too many heartbreaking moments in season 2, I feel like it's all going to be jam-packed into the last 7 episodes that season 3 is going to be. But, before I dive any deeper, let's quickly, cheekily check out this trailer, eh? Now, I will admit, when it comes to StreamYard, I'm a bit of a cheeky rookie, so bear in mind, as I'm pretty sure the audio will be playing, but if not, womp womp, I guess. Whoops. But you can watch the channel in your own time. But yeah, anyways, let's cheekily take it away, eh? Shit, God. Oh shit, alright. Oh damn. Oh. Well, that doesn't bloody look too good, does it? Beginning of baby birth. Oh my god, Jun Hee, I guess, is giving birth potentially in the games as well, which that will be, they'll just be rough. They'll be pretty bloody rough, I reckon. Yeah, I guess just quickly going over some things. The main thing that caught my attention was the dividing of the teams. So I'll see if I can try and find it real quick. Yeah, so we've got like the sort of room with a knife. Oh, actually, not gonna lie. And they're like roaming around here. Do you know what I reckon it could be? I reckon it's some kind of duel, like a fight to the death. Because I recall there was a rumor that there was like a game and it was like a chessboard, right? Where, a lot of people saying that they're either going to verse each other in chess, or it's going to be like human chess, where it's like, you take out an opponent by sort of murdering them. And I never quite understood the concept of that, because no one's just going to willingly, be killed, right? So I guess there's then a fight between the two of them. But then how does that, brawl not become like a group thing, right? Because you can accidentally, like hurt or damage or even kill someone nearby. So I reckon there's going to be some kind of dueling thing. And as we've sort of seen with what is it? Red means like nah, like I want the games to end, and blue sort of like yes, I want the games to continue. I reckon maybe it's if you get red, you're the attacker, because it does have what, that knife symbol. Let's bloody quickly go back and look. Yeah, so you got that knife symbol there. Oh, so hang on. So we've got all these people on the bloody reds and on the blues. Can we recognize anyone? Because we do see, yeah, so Hunjo has a blue. Like this young sick right there, the son. We know that the mother's got red. We know the Sungyeon's got red. Minsu's got red. I call Namgu. I believe he's the Thanos' sidekick. I believe he got red as well, if we can quickly find in the trailer. Oh yeah, so the mum definitely does get red. Where's the bloody shot? I don't even know. Oh my god. Yeah, no, but it looks pretty bloody good. I'm very excited to see what this game's going to be. But also how many games there are, because I know that I'll give it a cheeky like. Why not? Why not Netflix? I'll give you a cheeky like. Something else that really sort of caught my attention as well is where is it? It was with the Pink Soldier show. I forgot the name. No Ill or something like that. As I said, I'm really actually just before I go on to that. So we've clearly got the VIP dinner table right here. In some kind of fancy meal that most VIPs do. I don't know what you guys eat for fancy food, but my typical fancy food idea is cheeky little meatballs and fettuccine. I don't care if I'm up with the bloody Sky Tower or, down at the docks or, even in a dumpster. If I can somehow get meatballs and fettuccine, delicious lemon, my friends. Yes, obviously they're going to be facing. I wonder if they're going to be playing more of a larger story, because something that I did hear was that Netflix is wanting to make an American version of Squid Game, and something that was hinted at season 1 is that one of the VIPs said that out of all the games, the one in Korea is the most brutal, kind of hinting that maybe that there's some more international kind of versions, out and about the world, I guess. So maybe that's how they're going to tie it into America. I personally don't think that that's a good idea. I think just stick it to this main sort of like Korean Squid Game drama we have, because otherwise it's going to become like Americanized, very Western, and it's going to be shit. And something that I'm actually kind of curious about is that obviously Trump, for those who haven't seen, had made a tweet recently about how he's going to put a tariff on all movies and shows, everything filmed outside of America. He wants stuff to be made in America again, because we're going to make movies great again, guys. But with me personally, with a lot of stuff that's coming out recently, it's the American stuff that's the most shit, Whether it's Star Wars, I'm a big Star Wars fan, as you can all clearly see. A lot of it is pretty bad. There's Survivor is bad, have to chuck in the cheeky plug there. A lot of the movies are pretty crap, and a lot of it's down to the writers. And something that's so great about Squid Game is that it was very clearly the director's work. And from what I've heard of all the bad stuff, like for example, I'm not a big fan of the cop guy, but turns out that there was actually Netflix wanting to add like sort of spy sort of storyline and whatnot to it. And so that's why we get random episodes in season 1. It's all about the spy, and he's pretty incompetent for like a spy police officer. I'll never forget where it's like when they're driving in episode like 3, and like the van's here, and the van's here, and it's like driving like this, and the car's like right there, full beam lights, and it's like, man, what are you doing, bro? Like at least have some bloody space, But he's just really lucky, and I guess that's sort of the story about the police officer in season 1. And in season 2, he just did nothing, right? And something else I heard as well, so it was Netflix's decision to sort of cut the season in half as well, to make it 7 and 7 rather than just a 14 episode long season, which kind of sucks. But I mean, I do understand it. You really want to drag it out. This is currently Netflix's #1 show. Like season 1, I remember was like rated #1 in in New Zealand at least, for like well into 2022. I remember when I first moved into this apartment here, it was still number one on Netflix. So yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. But we do see, what is it? No Ul. If I can find the part of the trailer that is, I would just play it again, but I'm worried about copyright. All right, so we have her here. She's climbing on a vent with a gun on her back. I reckon that maybe she's turned. She's had enough. Yeah, maybe she's trying to have a little cheeky escape, but then runs into, where is that? Our boy here, and then they sort of raid the island together. Actually, that could be kind of interesting. What if they give up? Oh my God, yes, my biggest theory of season 2. All right, hear this out, guys. Hear this out. My biggest theory. So the reason why we got the bloody organ plot again was so then that the police officer, he would recognize it because he was heavily like involved in it. And I reckon when he goes back to Korea, he's going to be like, wait a minute, I recognize his bloody, well, obviously not recognize the organs, but he's going to recognize what's going on. He's going to follow their ship to go all the way back to, to where the island is. Maybe he's going to storm it on his own. That's where he meets up with No Ul, and maybe they do a whole underground sort of operation together, which there was a shot as well, which I did bloody notice, was when the guy was getting his neck scanned. Where was that part? Hold on. It was somewhere here. Oh my God, the light count just keeps on going up and up and up. But no, it's is it from here? Oh, I didn't actually notice that. Hold up. Oh crap, I just missed it. Hold on, just give me 1 hot second, guys. Boom! He's actually handcuffed. Oh my gosh, he's, no more bloody rebellions from this guy. He's no Princess Leia or Luke Skywalker. They're going to cuff him. They're going to knock him out. I'm pretty sure that this vote probably takes place straight after, maybe the first few seconds of, well, not first few seconds, maybe like the opening part of season 3 is them continuing the vote of being like, look, you guys made this whole bloody rebellion, and we do have our first comment. This is going to break up physically as well as mentally. Yeah, man, I agree. It's going to completely break us. It's going to be so sad to see the show like completely end. Like this has been a show that a lot of people all over the world have truly universally loved, and so it's going to be really sad to see the show actually come to an end here. But I'm trying to find, where is the spot of the guy's neck? There's a front man. Oh, I love the front man so much. Easily the best. See, you see that? Hold on. So there's Minsu, front man. So we're almost, it's going to be 2 hot sets. Boom. I mean, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, right? It's this guy right here who's so bloody hard to pause on. There we go. That is 246. That is so obviously 246. You've got the jawline, you've got the sort of mini stash, the hair as well, and the nose. You can almost recognize anyone from their nose, I'm bloody telling you. But that's very clearly the father, 246. I honestly think he should have stayed dead. I know a lot of people online were like, no, oh my God, he's alive. No Ul is going to like protect him. She shot him in the stomach. I guess Squid Game is now a lot like Star Wars, where you can just get stabbed through the stomach and be completely fine. No, because he's going to be at least a lot more injured than just, shot through the leg or the stomach or something. But yeah, I reckon it's maybe going to help No Ul sort of put it into the operation. Them 3, they're going to link up with Sung Gyeon. Maybe Hunjo will join in as well. And maybe more people are going to all sort of come in and, save the day almost. Something I do, or that we should talk about, if I can bloody find it again, is John Hee. Poor John Hee, she's very easily such a rootable character, such a lovely character, rootable character. I felt very sorry for her. But also, she was almost like the badass of the season. She gave very Sebyok vibes from season 1, where her and the mother, and Honjo as well, the transgender character, were all very much like heroic characters, if that makes sense. And she seems like she's in complete distress here. I reckon this is maybe the spot where she's about to give birth. Maybe her water breaks or something like that. I'm not too sure. And the baby's just going to plop right on out, which technically does the baby then become a player, but then again, the bro literally spawned in, like over half the bloody games are done. So does the bro have to do red light, green light, mingle all by himself, bloody the 5-legged race as the freshborn baby? Because otherwise that's cheating if you ask me. And, we all know that Squid Game's a fair game, but the bro's literally spawning in over halfway through. You know what I mean? You gotta harden the baby up, send them straight into red light, green light, and see if they can crawl all the way to the very end. And he's gonna come back as Pink Soldier, maybe. Yeah, I can see that. Be like an underground sort of Pink Soldier. And WSG, what's up, G? I'm pretty sure that's what it means. I'm very bad with, text language. I'm only 23, but I'm useless for my age. So I assume that means what's up, G? Been out with Junhee. Is she going to survive? I think it's going to be pretty bloody. I mean, I've never given birth. I've never experienced anyone giving birth. And hey, man, can you rate my edit of season 3 trailer? Where's your edit, bro? If you chuck me your edit on Instagram, my Instagram is Mucky Hope Productions _. If you send it through, I will have a cheeky look at it, bro, on this live stream. So once again, that's Mucky Hope Productions _ send it to me there, and I will give it a cheeky review. Dude, I felt the person who's going to win is either Gihan or MG. Actually, that's a fair point. Let's talk about MG Coin. So obviously he's the father of Junhee's baby. I don't think he's going to win. I think with MG Coin, now hear me out on this. He's kind of been built up as almost the Sung Woo sort of in terms of characters, where he's willing to do the hard thing. He's willing to push people out of the way to save himself and mingle. He's willing to kill people. Obviously, Thanos was the one who's like trying to attack him, but he's not as aggressive as Sung Woo, but he's willing to do the hard thing. And I think as the numbers are getting smaller and smaller, I reckon he's going to start becoming more aggressive. Maybe to try and protect Junhee. I could see maybe getting, oh my gosh, sorry, my English is failing me today. But can you imagine if we get like a sort of duel between Namgul and MG Coin, and the cheeky, what's it called, arena right here. I actually wonder who Honjo is versing. I wonder if she's just versing just like a random, or if in YouTube channel name, I will check it out. And also, I think that the roles are going to change, but the chances are slim, like Gihan not believing humanity anymore. I could see that. I can definitely see that, especially after this attack sort of failed as well. I can see him almost just starting to give up. I don't know about the front man, but I guess just really quick, wrap things up about MG Coin as well. I think he's going to be a massive player going into the finale. He might be like the bad boss, almost in terms of players left. But I don't think he's going to win. I think he's either going to sacrifice himself for Junhee, or something that I think will be very, not perfect, because I love Junhee so much, as if he has to kill her. Maybe towards the end, they he just kills her, similar to when Sungwoo had to kill Sabriok to ensure that the games will have to continue on. But if they kill the mother and son duo, I'm touching grass. Me too, brother. Me too. I guess let's quickly move on to them. I'm just going to keep things broad with all the characters. So that's sort of my theory with MG Coin. With the mother and son duo, I think, because we see that they are actually on opposing ends, right? If I can find the cheeky thing. Yeah, here we go. So he's got the blue ball, she's got the red. I wonder if the whole dueling knife kind of thing maybe they go up against each other, because we do see as well at some point in the trailer that she's actually on her knees crying. I believe it's like around here, I think. Oh, yeah, you just missed it. Oh my gosh, I'm going to spend 3 million years trying to get this bloody clip right. There we go. Yeah, so she's on her knees crying. And, you know, she cries when people die. You know, we saw this with, like, when was it Young Man and Mangle when she got killed. Obviously, the mother was really sad about that. But, you know, to be this devastated. Now, I feel like this is only going to be one of two things. One is if Junhee, if she dies from giving birth, or two, if her son is dead. And I can see maybe her son sacrificing himself. I do think we are sort of being led towards the mother potentially dying first over the son, since the mother, I mean, she's literally there to solve her son's debt, right? Which is pretty bloody sad if you ask me. But, you know, what an amazing mother, even though she's just a fictional character, you know, great character all around. I can see her maybe trying to sacrifice herself to save her son. But we also did see that moment where, you know, like during Mingle, he kind of not really abandoned her. He didn't intentionally do it. But as he was being dragged away, you know, like you could kind of tell they're sort of just allowing it to happen, because he also wants to save his own ass, right? And so I do think that maybe he sacrifices himself in order to sort of try to keep his mum alive, because he does care about his mum. He loves his mum so much. And I don't think they're both going to make it through, though, unfortunately. I just noticed your name's Send Help. Send Help. We also do need help. I don't think they're both making it out, though, sadly. I feel like the latest tag game is going to be like an arena, like Smash Bros. Getting out of hand. Yeah, I did talk about that slightly earlier in the stream, where I do think it's going to be some kind of like either duel or like, you know, a team deathmatch kind of thing. Or maybe something that, you know, my parents and, you know, my family and I used to play when I was a kid was hide and go death. It was hide and seek, but the seeker's got like a Nerf gun. And we always used to do it at night because we had like not really a huge backyard, but it was sort of, you know, it was a decent sized backyard. And so obviously we'd hide in all these places. But essentially, if you got shot with a Nerf gun, like you're out, right? Maybe it's something like that. Maybe it's like hide and seek. Oh my God. Imagine if it's hide and seek, right? 1v1 style. The seeker has the knife, the hider doesn't. And if you can't find the person within X amount of time, the seeker's eliminated. And it's the seeker's goal to kill the hider. That could be something pretty fun, pretty interesting, because that would also make sense why Honjo, who we'll start to talk about now, isn't actually holding a knife, and just, you know, with the bare fists. I think Honjo's going to make it to the very end. I don't know if they are going to live or not. I would like for them to win. To be honest, I want a lot of the main characters to stay alive. I really do like a lot of people. However, I do kind of see maybe like a heroic kind of end, similar to a Sabyok, or maybe Hunjo as part of the final push, the final rebellion against the front man and his crew. So there's some early predictions for Hunjo. Junhee, I think, will either survive or she dies giving birth. That's what my, you know, thoughts and opinions on Junhee. Sungyeon, I feel like, you know, he's going to make it to the very end again. We're going to get some kind of final Squid battle between him and the front man. I can't wait for the reveal, for him to realize who the front man actually is. And yeah, I mean, something that I thought about during season 2 as well is that the front man had a very soft spot for Junhee, because obviously he joined the games because his wife was pregnant at the time, and then, you know, she ended up, you know, like dying off. I assume she died maybe while he was in the games or something like that, and that's why he became the front man. So I can maybe see him maybe even pulling Junhee away to sort of save her, like, you know, when she's dying of childbirth, or she's like really injured or anything. But yeah, anyways, Namgul, let's talk about Namgul. He is like the gangster almost of the season. Originally, I thought it was going to be Thanos, and bro, I love Thanos. Thanos had me laughing so much. But I'm really excited to see how Numgo's going to like step up. I think he's going to be literally a blood slashing killer, and I think he's going to make a massive impact going in. Daeho, I wonder if he's going to get some kind of interesting arc, because obviously he sort of had the trauma battle at the very end when it came to the gun. So I wonder if he's going to try and intentionally sacrifice himself to sort of make up, especially because he was really tight with John, like the best man who died in season 2 with John Bay. So I wonder if maybe he's going to do something to sacrifice himself for the group to go all the way. Sup, Ham Dog, Stag Zero. How's it going, brother? Yeah, who else is left to really talk about? Talk about Mother Son. Song Girls might get to the end. I think it's going to live. That sort of wraps up the characters, really. Brawl Stars match. Brawl Stars? Who the hell is Brawl Stars? I've got no clue. I'm so lost. Sorry, you might need to explain that one. But just while you explain that, I will quickly check out the bros thingamajig right here. Just give me one hot second. But yes, overall, Squid Game, I'm super excited for it. I have a feeling that, hang on, where on earth did that name go? Sorry, it's such a long name. But yeah, I have a feeling that we're going in for a wild ride. I reckon it's going to be super bloody, super graphic, UI, UX. All right, mate. I believe I found your channel. All right, everyone. We're giving the bro a massive shout out. So this is his channel right here. Oh my god, 269,000 subscribers, bro. Congratulations. That's a massive achievement, man. Great job. I've only got like 120 or something, which, by the way, make sure you subscribe now for some cheeky naughty times, reality TV or Squid Game or scripted TV in general. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. But yeah, let's check out the bros edit. Oh, hang on, there's no sound. Oh wait, I'm a dumbass. All right, here we go. Let's check out the edit. Yo, that's sick, man. Great job. Yo, great job with the edit, man. That was actually pretty bloody sick. Honestly, a good fan edit, I reckon, does go a long way. So you keep making those edits, man. You're obviously really good at it with bloody almost 300,000 subscribers, man. So keep it up. Awesome edit, man. We are locking in. 100%, brother. 100%. Bro, we've got to wait another month. Yeah, we do, but I do like the build up to things, Like, for me personally, sometimes the best part for TV shows, sometimes the same with like Survivor and stuff that we heavily cover on this channel as well, is the build up to a season, right? You get like your fan theories cooking, you're trying to put all the different pieces of the puzzle together, because once it comes out in one batch, right? And then, depending on how good the season is, if it's like season 1, bro, it's going to last for years. If it's like season 2, might be more of a shorter kind of hype impact, but I'm really excited to see how this season is going to end. I also feel like season 4 is going to come. Yeah, I sort of talked about it. They have talked about doing an American version of Squid Games, which I don't know what's that really going to look like. Probably really shit, to be perfectly honest. Something I would love to see is like a frontman prequel. We're sort of going into like the frontman's life, why he joined the games, what made him twist his view from, obviously he was in like a poverty kind of state, what made him twist his view from winning the games to being like, nah, like humans. I mean, what is it? The recruiter even says that, like, you know, everyone's just pieces of garbage, and that the winners are just lucky to make their way out of the dumpster. So what changed the frontman's view so much, where he was like, yeah, humans are pieces of shit, and I want to, like, you know, contribute to the games. So yeah, I would love to see a frontman spin-off. I would also love to, because I know it's rumored that they're going to be doing like a Squid Game 1, like how the very first ever Squid Game, how it happened, which I felt like could be interesting, but I would only be personally interested in it if it was told from the perspective of the VIPs. I'd love to see, because how does the idea even come up? Like, oi, bro, do you know what would be such a great idea? If we've got a bunch of like people in poverty, you know, like orphans, gangsters, people in debt, you know, people who are homeless, people coming out of jail even as well, people just struggling to make ends meet, and we just make them like compete in all these children games. And if they lose, they die. But if they win a life-changing amount of money. How did that conversation coming up? You know, that conversation to me is very similar to how the idea of milking cows came up. Like, who bloody hell had it in their mind of, oh man, just you wait to what I'm going to do to this cow, and now that's how we get our cheese, our milk, our ice creams, and whatnot, which is pretty bloody crazy. So yeah, I feel like creators want to make like a shit-like spin-off. Imagine. Probably not, to be honest. I don't really know what they're going to do with Squid Game. There's so many different directions that they can sort of take it, but yeah, overall, that's my quick, you know, simple thoughts on it. Later this weekend, I will be doing a deep dive with Kahuna. If you're a fan of the Nullified Tech, you know who Big Kahuna is. We're going to be diving deep into all the different theories, like predictions, assumptions, everything that we think might happen in season 3, but also not just like Squid Game as well. Many other great movies like Warfare, Until Dawn, maybe even Sinners. I don't know if Kahuna's seen that. I don't know if he's seen any of those other movies, to be perfectly honest, but we'll bloody talk about it. You know, Survivor, many other things we're going to talk about. So make sure you tune in this weekend to see that content. Cheeky cow milking. Yeah, mate, you can't go wrong with milking cows, to be honest. I really want to see what's going to be the next point. Yeah, it should be interesting, mate. Like, sometimes it's good for things to have an end, right? I'm a big Star Wars fan, and it's just never ending, right? There's a lot of very average to bad projects. Some are good. I really loved Ahsoka, and I've heard phenomenal things about Tales of the Underworld that recently came out. But for me personally, a lot of things haven't been that interesting. And so, similar with Pirates of the Caribbean, first 3 phenomenal, last 2, give or take, you know? So sometimes it's good to have an ending rather than constantly trying to squeeze as much as you can out of the franchise. But that's just my personal thoughts. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button. You know, we are still a pretty relatively new channel. Don't forget the cheeky naughtiness with MHP. You goddamn right hand dog. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know down below, who's your favorite character? What are you hoping to see in Squid Game? And tune in for later this weekend when I will be going to a more deeper dive about everything to do with Squid Game and many other just shows and movies in general. But until next time, I've been your host, Mucky Hope. Kaki Tano, everyone. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Take it easy, guys. Bye.